Hi, my name is Maria and welcome to the channel MH Books. I've been thinking for the last few days on how I would introduce my channel so people would understand what kind of books I like to read, because I read such an eclectic amount. And then I saw the bookshelf tag on We Need, I have my computer here, there it is, I'll show you to you in a minute, on We Need Honey's channel, and I have seen loads of channels, to be honest, but when I saw that, I thought, well, that's probably a good idea, is actually combine this tag with just a really quick overview of the books that I have, not a bookshelf tour, a really quick one. So to do this, I'm going to use the questions from the tag, and I'm going to put them in a slightly different order, if nobody minds. So the last question is, show us your bookshelves. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to go through the bookshelves really quickly, but using the tag questions rather than holding up the books here. About the 10th question, I think it is. Go to a random number generator and talk about the book that corresponds with that number. I'm going to do that here and now. I'm just going to go into my Goodreads. On Goodreads, I have most of my books that I haven't read yet listed. The ones that are on my shelves that are read are not always going to be listed on Goodreads, unfortunately. But so I'm going to select one from my unread books, and there's 460 if I remember correctly. There is. So I have it in number order, so I can sort by that. So my random number, I'm going to do it live or in front of the camera. Siri, select a number between 1 and 460, please.
It's 440.
Okay. So that's one she selected. The light is really bad. Sorry, it is late in the evening. So 440 is, of course this has got the wrong way around and thought it the other way around. Wait for the hot Wi-Fi. Okay, so 440 is going to be quite a recent book. 440 is The Unforeseen, which is Dorothy McCardle. So we're going to be talking a lot when we get to that shelf, and it's the shelf you've seen before. So the first two questions of the tag is, how many books do you have? And I did count them, there's 651. Didn't include cookery books or guitar books, and I missed some. I noticed earlier or later, and I have about 12 out on loan to people, and I have one or two hanging around this place at work that I'm currently reading. So, should we get on then? Okay, let's go and have a look. Why don't we look at the bookshelf that's immediately behind you? How about turning around there, okay? I have to turn you off to turn you around. So the third question was, how do you organize your books? And it's easier to show than to explain. And the other one is, show us your bookshelf. So we're showing the bookshelves here. You can see I live in a small space, so everything is quite neatly packed. There's another question about what decorations you have on your shelf here. Decorations I have on my shelf tend to be presents. So this was a present from my mother. This is a present from my sister, where he's wearing all our, I will call my equality bear, he's wearing all the equality gear from Pride. So these ones here are more or less organised by colour. So these were purple and pink, roughly organised by colour. That's sort of rainbow colours, so that's why they got beside quality bear. Down here, so the next three shelves are all by colour. There's the blues, a chocolate saints, nice lovely literary fiction in that one. Some, oh gosh, so many different styles. Dracula. There is some green and the grey books, Tangerine Dream, Frankenstein and Baghdad, obviously in the front, Sting and Fire, which is a collection of things. Oh, there's the budgies. Hello, budgies.
These two.
Red books,
orangey books. More orangey books, yellow books. That's the end of sorting by colour, guys. There we go into classics.
Wow, this one is an awkward angle to film at. My longest book, according to Goodreads, by page count, it would be Stephen King's The Stand. I don't think it's the longest book. I'll show you the longest book on a different shelf. Would you like to see the shelves? Okay, let's turn.
And here we go back to Fast Speed again. This is sorted by Stephen King. And then by authors. But I have a slight problem in that some of the authors have large books and small books, and I haven't managed to put them quite together, but they're more or less on the same shelf as each other. Some Karen Maitland, some horror there. I'm seeing some Ali Smiths, some more horror, some young adult there. That's Frances Hardinger. There's the kitchen shelves. The kitchen shelves have to keep cookbooks, kitchen implements, and of course novels. Doesn't everybody do this? Does not everybody live this way? I think they should if they don't.
Okay, I'm just going to hand hold this for this because I couldn't find a place to place a tripod that worked. So this is one of the larger shelves, and it has one of my shortest pieces of fiction because that sounds like something I would do. So the shortest piece I have, it would be a book of poetry, The Overhaul. It's about 50 pages long. If we're talking about a proper novelette kind of thing, it'll be on the other shelf, and we'll show you that in a second. Just turn you around.
And bring you back to High Speed. So we have some of the lighter coloured books near the top of the shelf, and some of the darker coloured ones near the bottom. You probably should have gotten the extra shelves from IKEA. That's a book I'm pointing out that I should have read by now. Some more dark ones. The ones in the front are ones I've read. There's Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is really important because it's the oldest book that I own.
This is an interesting angle. I'm checking here the questions from the book tag. So we've had you organise your books. We're more or less gone through, but you'll see the last of them now. The oldest book on your bookshelves, we just saw Lord of the Rings. But the actual oldest copy I own is here in this one, and it is first edition 1928 bind up of the Irish RM. So I love this book. It's in bad condition, look at it, but I really love it. When this was printed in a really important time in history. This is kind of about the way the Irish RM would have been part of the British ruling class in Ireland. When they would have been published while the British were still in power. At this stage in 1928, they were halfway through. It was the Irish Free State, so the power was slipping, let's say. So it was an interesting time, and she refers to it in her foreword. So I think I just love this book for a lot of reasons. I just love the fact that I like the actual sun damage on this one. It makes me wonder where it was kept, but it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite books. Okay, the next question is the newest on your bookshelf, and again, that's why I'm using this crazy angle, because most of them can be seen from this angle. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's from the same publisher, mind. I have a subscription to And Other Stories. That means my name is in the back. So I got this a couple of months ago, but it's actually been released now. It's been released this month anyway. It's an August 2018 release. Really enjoyed this, which you could actually see from. I wasn't doing videos at the time, so it would be in my Goodreads review if anybody was interested in that one. Okay, computer went off. Okay. The newest book on my bookshelf is that one. So the longest book on my bookshelf. We've seen what Goodreads thinks it is because it was Stephen King's The Stand. Now, Goodreads will say this was my third one, and that one is War and Peace. But War and Peace is actually in 3 copies. So no matter what Goodreads thinks, I believe it's actually this one. Le Comte de Monte Cristo, or the Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know why I tried to have a bad French accent. I'm nearly finished. I never quite finished it last year. So what I plan to do is go on and look at one of those websites that tell you, what happened, catch up on everything that what happened, then read from the last bit. I actually read at the same time I was reading The Stand and 2 or 3 other really long books, and I just got tired of really long books. I believe that's my longest. The shortest book on your bookshelves we see in the poetry book, but underneath here is where I keep my TBRs, and this one is coming in at less than 100 pages. It's 95. It's a lovely signed edition as well with the lovely paper thing, because I was at the book launch last week. So it's After the World by Maura Brophy. This is where we have the beautiful Tramp Press, which has the Dorothy McArdle book. So it was The Unforeseen was selected by the random number generator, but it's actually I'm going to speak about it with this one. So Dorothy McArdle is part of the Tramp Press Recovered Voices series. And as you can see there, The Uninvited is a gothic ghost story by an exceptional Irish author was the second in the Recovered Voices. That actually is the first in the Recovered Voices. I have it on there. So this is the second book that they've done, the released for The Unforeseen for Dorothy McArdle. And this one is a spooky tale of premonition in the 1930s Dublin by an exceptional Irish author, fourth in Tramp Press Recovered Voices. So I don't actually have the third in the Recovered Voices. I don't think I do, unless one of those were, but I don't think any of those are Recovered Voices. This is the kind of thing that attracts me to it. I do like horror, I do like literary fiction. I get a chance of combining the two of them together. So they would have burnt me in the Middle Ages. Witches are a nuisance. They are dangerous. So what do you think is my most predominant genre? There's quite a bit of horror. So in speculative fiction, it's definitely horror. There's quite a lot of historical fiction. There's quite a bit of literary fiction. There's a lot of magical realism. Definitely a lot of crime novels. And yet, not my favourite to pick up half the time, which is why I'm doing Thriller-a-thon. The odd ends of bits and pieces of non-fiction. Teeny tiny bit of YA. Not an awful lot of YA. Definitely mostly adult. Quite a few Irish authors, but that's really not surprising. So yeah. So I'm gonna call this a night or an evening. As you can see, the sun is starting to get a bit lower in the sky. I hope whatever you're reading, you're enjoying it. And until next time, bye.